Hello, my friends. Welcome to End Times Prophecy News. Brother Jim Beckwith reporting here and is your host. Trump warns Iran 52 targets set in case of attack, one for every 1979 embassy hostage. The art of the deal. Trump has responded to the 35 targets that Tehran wants to hit or position to hit. I thought this was funny. This is just, it's not funny. It's showing that Trump is letting everyone know in America and Iran that we remember. President Trump issued a blunt and pointed warning to Iran Saturday evening, saying that the U.S. has plans to attack 52 targets, one for every American hostage the Iranian regime took in 1979 Tehran embassy takeover in case of further attacks by Iran. Trump's warning is an apparent response to a threat reported earlier Saturday by an Iranian general that Iran had identified 35 U.S. targets in the region for a possible attack. You put your ante in, I raise you, Trump says. Don't you just love it? Quote, Iran is talking very boldly about targeting certain USA assets as revenge for our ridding the world of their terrorist leader who had just killed an American and badly wounded many others, not to mention all the people he had killed over his lifetime, including recently hundreds of Iranian protesters. He was already attacking our embassy and preparing for additional hits in other locations. Trump is speaking. Iran has been nothing but problems for many years. Let this serve as a warning that if Iran strikes any Americans or American assets, we have targeted 52 Iranian sites, and our missiles don't miss. But Iranian missiles miss all the time. Representing the 52 American hostages taken by Iran many years ago, we don't forget, and at a very high level and important to Iran and the Iranian culture and those targets, and Iran itself will be hit very fast and very hard. The USA wants no more threats. Do you understand? No, they don't. And you know why? Because God is hardened their hearts, just like Pharaoh. Every time he said to Moses, you can take your people. Your God is too powerful. Get out of Egypt. You are free to go. Next morning, after God says he has hardened his heart, you ain't going nowhere. And Reuters reported the threat by the Iranian general we go over, General Gomali Abu Hamza, the commander of the guards in the southern province of Kerman, said Iran reserves the right to take revenge against the United States for the death of Soleimani. The Strait of Hormuz is a vital point for the West, and a large number of American destroyers and warships cross there. Vital American targets in the region have been identified by Iran since long time ago. Some 35 U.S. targets in the region as well as Tel Aviv are within our reach. White House informs Congress of drone strike that killed Soleimani. The White House informed Congress of it's a formal letter that killed General Qasem Soleimani, a top commander of the Iran Al-Quds force at Baghdad's International Airport. The White House delivered a formal notification to Congress on Saturday informing lawmakers of the airstrike that took out several Iranian military officials fulfilling its duties under the War Powers Act, the New York Times and WAPO reported. But that wasn't good enough because Pelosi still tried to slander Trump in that one. Here's a very interesting one. CIA plant and Congress lady, pardon me, Elizabeth Slotkin, Democrat Slotkin, says she watched Soleimani kill her friends and colleagues, but she helped keep him alive anyway. How awful. Democrat Elizabeth Slotkin admitted this week that she helped keep Iranian Al-Quds leader Qasem Soleimani alive, despite the fact that he killed her friends and colleagues. What a wonderful friend she is, huh? In other words, Slotkin puts Iranian terrorists before her friends and colleagues. On Thursday, the United States killed Qasim Soleimani, a top commander of the Al-Quds force. The strike also killed Abu Mahdi al-Mohandes, the deputy commander of the Iran-backed militia known as the Popular Mobilization Forces. 7 people were reportedly killed in the airstrike. In response to the action, Democrats lashed out at President Trump for killing the top terrorists in the Iranian regime. And why? Because they're doing pay for play with them. They're getting paid big bucks, billions of dollars by the OPEC Arab oil companies and billionaires who love to slaughter Christians and all infidels. Slotkin wrote that Iranian operatives under Soleimani's command killed her colleagues and friends, but that she helped keep him alive anyway. Here's her exact words. I watched friends and colleagues get hurt or killed by Iranian rockets, mortars, and explosive devices that were provided to Iraqi proxies and used against U.S. forces under Soleimani's guidance. We watched as his power increased, and he brought strength and capability to groups in Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, and Yemen, and to smaller cells around the Middle East and the world with devastating consequences. What always kept both Democratic and Republican presidents from targeting Soleimani himself was the simple question: was the strike worth the likelihood, retaliation, and the potential to pull us into protracted conflict? You see, this is what we're going to be discussing today. The lies that the Zionists who love Israel and call Israel apartheid Israel are trying to start a third world war. It's all a lie. All you got to do is listen to Donald Trump. I did it to stop a war. But I digress. We continue. Liberal hack Alyssa Slotkin accuses Trump of breaking agreements with Iraq and killing Soleimani. Well, of course he broke it. He broke the Iran. He already dissolved the Iran. This is stupid. And these 31 so-called moderate Democrats are going to be outvoted. Yep. They will lose their seats in 2020. Most of them will. I believe the Iran deal was important and successful. We continue. What does Trump say about them? These people hate Israel. They hate Jewish people. Very true. President Trump slams Omar Tlaib, AOC, during speech to evangelicals. Let's listen to truth. If we can get it to work here.
A murderer opened fire during service at a church near Fort Worth, Texas. Our prayers are with the families of the victims and the congregation. We're grateful that the shooting was over in 6 seconds. You know why? Because we had somebody that had a gun going in the other direction. We had 242 people, worshipers, they were praying. And this maniac walked in and started shooting. But yet a man had a gun, he knew how to use it. And in a very short period of time, that was the end, but 2 people died. But yet 242 people, they would have perhaps all been dead, every one of them. And then these people talk about guns and gun safety and gun rights, and honestly, they don't really know what they're talking about.
And I can rest assured that Trump will make sure he does something in Virginia with Governor Nordham trying to take away the guns and break the Constitution, the right to bear arms. Oh, he's definitely going to do something. You'll watch, just like he's doing with Iran and North Korea. And remember, these same people who are talking about about Iran and a third world war that Trump is starting are the same Democrats and leftist nutballs who hate Jews, who hate Israel, who said there was going to be a third world war between North Korea and us and start a third. Never happened. And they're doing the same thing now. And yet you have Trump supporters that are turning on Trump and saying he's going to start the Third World War because he is actually stopping a Third World War by cutting off the heads of Islam. It's always a spiritual war, folks. It always was. In World War II and World War I, they're all started from spiritual wars. The Jesuits, who hate God, have the name like they are loyal to Jesus Christ. They hate God and they worship Satan. That's what they do.
But many lives were saved by these heroes, and Texas laws allowing them to exercise their Second Amendment right to bear arms.
And you notice how he reminds you of the Constitution and the Second Amendment. No, he's going to stop Governor Nordham, and it could be a very bloody ending for Governor Nordham if he pursues this. Pelosi lashes out at the Trump administration for delivering classified War Powers Act notification to Congress. Americans are being left in the dark. Really? Cuckoo Pelosi, what the hell are you talking about? We heard enough. And clashes break out at a prayer vigil for dead terrorist Soleimani in Toronto, but Iranian dissidents face off with the pro-regime thugs. Oh, yeah, you know, the dissidents who love Trump. Iranian dissidents confronted a group of regime supporters protesting against the United States over death of Qasem Soleimani. The protest took place tonight in front of the U.S. Embassy in Toronto, Canada. The pro-regime thugs were shouting Allahu Akbar and carrying posters of Soleimani. Here from the fake New York Times, listen to this. But at least for now, Iran is united in the anger at the United States. Right. Sure. Muslim propaganda, as usual, from the WAPO and New York Times. Just take off the names New York Times and WAPO and replace it with, this is Muslim propaganda. Persians in Toronto divided between two camps fighting pro-regime and anti-regime. One group shouting Allahu Akbar, mourning Soleimani, and other chanting terrorist Soleimani. Also, there are many non-Iranians in the pro-regime camp. You can tell from their accent. See, brainwashing works on all kinds of people, doesn't it? Iranian dissidents are now confronting a group of supporters of the IRGC who are protesting against U.S. over death of Soleimani in front of U.S. Embassy in Toronto, Canada. It was the prayer vigil for the terror leader Soleimani. Let's have a prayer vigil for a man who's in hell? Cuckoo. AOC calls Trump up monster figures over his warning to Iran to not attack U.S., falsely accuses president of threatening to kill women and children. We will push that he kills women and children, but the truth of it is that Iran and Soleimani and all their terrorists are the monsters of killing women and children and oppressing and killing them in their own city, in their own nation. But Ocasio-Cortez, the Muslim propaganda machine in the House, called President Trump a monster Saturday night over his warning to Iran not to attack the United States. Ocasio-Cortez also falsely claimed that Trump threatened to kill innocent families, women, and children when he never did. Voila! I just threw another lie at you. Cortez was triggered by Trump warning Iran he had 52 targets, likened onto a B-52, or the 52 U.S. hostages in Tehran that happened in 1979, including sites at a very high level and important to Iran and the Iranian culture. But see, you need to remember one thing. Everyone. Trump doesn't make idle threats. He makes good on them. Cortez says this is a war crime, threatening to target it. No, it's not. There won't be no war. It'll be done sort of like Norman Schwarzkopf did in the Persian Gulf War in 1990. Just a couple hours. You know, it's very interesting, the whore, the city, in Revelation 17 and 18, is done by Jesus Christ in 1 hour, but gets a double couple portion of the wrath of God that she gave unto the saints and the prophets, Revelation 18:24. But she's done in 1 hour. As Trump says, Iran will be hit very fast and very hard. The USA wants no more threats. And, oh, believe me, these targets are military targets. They're not women and children. No, we just have the Muslim propaganda machine and the bartender. And I reported this yesterday, but Iraqi parliament to hold emergency session will vote on whether to expel U.S. forces from country. Again, this is the same liken on to the Democrat Congress in America. They're totally globalists. The Iraqi parliament will hold an emergency session on Sunday to discuss the U.S. airstrike, that's today, in Baghdad, and that killed Iranian terror leader Qasem Soleimani and Iraqi militia commander Abu Mahdi al-Mohandes. The Iraqi parliament is expected to vote on continued U.S. presence in the country. Iraq speaker vowed to put an end to U.S. presence in the country. So, moving on, we have some more news here. I wanted to show you the Millennium Report. Just when you think you can trust someone, well, if you look in the Millennium Report, it's sickening. They are revisionists of history. Yeah, they're leftists. They have part truth and part lies, but it's becoming worse and worse. Just when you think you can trust someone, it's time to throw them in the garbage. Look at this headline. Blowback coming. The illicit assassination of General Qasem Soleimani by Trump was an act of war, an epic blunder. Trump may have just started World War III. Red alert. Israel using impeachment to bolster Trump's re-election prospects while using the POTUS to wage war against Iran given his popularity. Wage war? What a profuse lie. These are these people that push they're against Israel, and that they call Israel apartheid. Who doesn't know by now that the flagrantly corrupt and criminal impeachment process conducted by the Democrats on orders from the foreign-controlled deep state only served to enhance the likelihood of President Trump's re-election? Yes, but what has that got to do with this article? This stealthy scheme has become all too transparent now in its true intent. With each passing day, the utterly absurd impeachment drama can only make sense based on the answer to one question. Israel, what? More accurately, the rogue nation and apartheid state of Israel. There you go. They hate Israel. Anyone who calls Israel apartheid means they do not believe Israel, the Jews, belong in their land. Now tell me, ask me or answer one question, folks. What other nation in the world does anyone ask that the people don't belong in their nation? Zero. You talk about racism and hate of a certain type of people. There's none other like the Jews. None other. This is what you call racism. A statement like that right there, apartheid, is only come from Palestinians. In light of the reckless provocation and false flag attacks conducted by the U.S. Armed Forces, the CIA, Mossad, and IDF against both Iraq and Iran, it ought to be quite obvious that these atrocious Are you serious? Are you saying the CIA is running Iran in their attacks on our U.S. embassy and blowing up a contractor and killing people? Innocent. What? Shut up. This is so stupid. You can't trust these people. The neocon Zionists. There you go. When Zionist simply means a person who believes in the Jews are entitled to the land they live in, Israel. You see, they make up these lies. And I understand there are many wicked Jews, but they're not all the Jews that live in Israel. I've talked about this over and over and over. And Bibi Netanyahu in particular has a dangerous grip on Trump. Shut up! This is so stupid. Through his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, Netanyahu is able to easily transmit orders issued by the Zionist Grand Poobahs who rule in both Tel Aviv and Jerusalem, getting people to hate Jerusalem and Israel and the Jews. They never stop with this crap. This extremely precarious predicament only worsens by the day. Israel knows that it must conquer Iran if it is to proceed with the smooth implementation of the Greater Israel Project. It's sickening. And here we go, the hidden powers behind the destruction of America. See, they always push this hate. Here's an interesting one. Red alert, Trump punked majorly by Bibi and neocon Zionists, or was he? Well, I think you should stick with, or was he? No. So stupid. Anyway, you need to stay away from the revisionist history, and I'll show you something. You don't think I believe that? Purpose. I think it's in here. But I know they use the word revisionist. No, this is not the page I was looking at. Purpose. It might be on the home. I don't know. Maybe. Might be on the bottom here. Oh, it's a long. No. But I saw where it says it describes what the Millennium Report is about. And it's just sickening. They believe in what the revisionists... The revisionists are the people coming out of college. That's what this is. See, they don't know what they're talking about. They don't even know what the word Zionist means. I mean, you can go to your simple dictionary, but you see, people keep distorting and twisting the meanings of words, and it just makes me sick. It really does. So anyway, that'll be all for this report. But the best one of all, like I said, is Trump letting him know we have 52 targets set in case of an attack, one for every 1979 embassy hostage. I just love it. The art of the deal. He's letting him know we have never forgotten. And remember, that happened when Donald Trump was a little boy. May the Lord bless.